Good morning, world, and welcome to episode 63 of Tuesday Morning Quarterbacks, where your co-hosts Jay and Cody meet you at the intersection of humor and sports expertise. Uh, we got a loaded breakdown of the NCAA tournament today for those loyal listeners and new listeners out there. Um, but without further ado, we're gonna get to Jay's. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Jay, do you want to let the people know where they
Yep.
can find us?
Yes. As always on X at TMQBs. That's where we get all of our questions. None
Mhm.
so far on the TikTok, but TikTok would be at Tuesday MQBS, and then YouTube I believe is Tuesday Morning Quarterbacks. Cody
That's
spelt out.
correct. That's
All right.
correct. That's well done. Big
Thank you.
improvement on our parts from last week on
hmm
on that, just the social media aspect. Um,
We we are without Big John this week. That doesn't mean Big John's gone. I know a lot of people are going to be looking for him, but he'll be back. Just he's whenever he's available, he's ours. That's the bottom line. And this
that's it.
week, not available.
We'll be working him in. It'd probably be easier to get him to come back if we got a little more engagement from our listeners. Um, but I'm sure that's coming with time. I have
Mm-hmm.
full faith that we'll get there. Um, so Jay, you wanna walk us through how we're feeling with your heels ultimately meeting their demise this weekend?
Yeah. So my tournament ended on Friday afternoon, early evening. I guess Friday evening. It was pretty much a synopsis. Is that the right word? Yeah, of the Tar Heels season.
Okay.
Get down. I think I wish I would have bookmarked something. It was about quad one games. How much we've led in a quad one game. It was like 29 minutes and trailed in I want to say over 300 minutes.
Wow.
But in all those games, they'd get down big, just like in this one against Ole Miss, and they'd fight, claw back, and it just wouldn't be enough. And you wonder where the effort was in the first half. And it was a lot of missed layups, uh, missed free throws in the first half. But the real reason was the missed layups. If they make layups, because they got in transition enough against Ole Miss, they just couldn't finish, and that's the best part. That's when they look their best is when they're in transition and finishing. But
It
everybody's
was.
gone.
Yeah.
R.J. Davis career's over. Next year, he was the last player remaining from Roy Williams' tenure for the Tar Heels. So it's sad, dude, because as soon as the game ended, I immediately was just like, football's so far away. That's
Yeah.
what immediately came to my mind. And that even goes, there's going to be excitement for football in the Tar Heel locker room. Even college football, though, is, I mean, we're almost in April. So what, 4 months out, Cody? We got to make it to August to get some preseason football.
Yeah.
But the lack of a team that I desire to watch play, not being on TV for so long, set in. And Tar Heels got a lot of things. It is relieving not having to watch that basketball team though anymore.
Mm.
Like it's over. Close the
You
book on this
you
year.
can put them behind you, man. In
hmm
5 years, you can say, that 24-25 team. Thank God that's not every year, you know?
Yeah, and
Uh,
I just don't know. I don't know where they go from here because it's so much. Like they're gonna who's staying, who's coming, what. I guess that's on. They
at
got
least they
the.
got a GM now.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Mainly the GM. They've already came out. They've offered some or interest in some kid from Virginia, and I don't know. I won't put too much thought into transfer portal
From
because
the state of Virginia or from UVA?
UVA, UVA,
McNeely,
the two
the
guard.
shooter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, he's good.
yeah.
I,
They
I
got
saw he's in the portal, but he's got a do not contact.
well.
I don't know what's
Apparently,
up with
there's
that.
similar interest for both, but
Hmm.
I never know with the transfers though, man. They're hit or miss. They're so hit or miss for especially the Hills, like Pete Nance miss, Brady Manick hit, Harrison Ingram hit, Cormac Ryan semi hit. Uh,
Mhm.
but this year, nobody really. I guess Vin Allen Lubin contributed and came on at the end of the year, and I think he'll be back. But the transfer portal, I don't get too excited over the guys until I start to see them play come November, which is a long way away.
I uh
Bad season, Tar Heels. Bad
I
season.
I truly hate the way it is now, man, where you're just basically getting to know players for 1 year with the portal. Guys coming in for their senior year. That seems to happen a lot to state. But even it felt weird hearing you say names like Cormac Ryan, um, because it's like, oh, I almost forgot about him,
Yeah.
But back in the day when I had to watch Duke and UNC players, I had to play against them 4 years in a row. It's you hate them a little more. I think the rivalries are a little better, um, and I think it's. I mean, college basketball is so crazy right now
I I got a
with all
I
this
got a
mess.
question.
Hmm.
So you got players on your team that like Elliot Cadeau, he's a rising junior. Seth Trimble, a rising senior, and Jalen Washington, rising senior. Players that have been there for their whole career, but a lot of people want them out. Like they want them to transfer. Even if I don't I don't
Like
enjoy.
Quinn Cook.
What do you mean?
That's or not Quinn Cook. I'm sorry, but dang, what's the guard that went to Baylor from Duke last year?
Roach.
Roach. Yeah, Jeremy Roach. That was the
Yeah,
same thing. They wanted him to transfer.
yeah. I don't know how it works, but as a fan, to me, I don't want anybody transferring that you bring in as a recruit and they want to keep coming back and playing for you, even if Elliot Cadeau gets on my nerves with his flopping and his antics. But I don't want to force anybody out that you recruit and you bring in. I want to see him get better and elevate there, and I think that says something in the long run. But I don't I don't see them because Ian Jackson. I don't know if he's going to the NBA, but we got the rock. Somebody's going to go. There's going to be
Hmm.
multiple players transfer. I just hope none of it's forced out. And if it was me, I'd say I want you all back. It's my I don't know. I don't know how it works. If with the GM, if it's like let's for I don't. How do you even force somebody out? You tell them they're not going to play.
You can do it in NCAA in the football game.
Mm,
You can encourage them to leave. So I'm sure it has something to do with like, hey man, realistically, it's like Jeremy Roach last year. I think all the fans were saying it before it happened. Like, we don't have room for him on the roster. Like, he's not going to be able to play with everyone coming in,
mm.
which is insane to force someone out that's played for you for that long, especially him. But
But if I
um,
guess he was also he played 4 years though. It
yeah,
was time. It ain't like they forced him out in year four. But now all the COVID stuff's gone too, Cody. The
yep,
only way you
no
can
more.
get there ain't you're not going to see the year fives unless they get a waiver for something that goes on or it ain't
Hmm.
like everyone's got 5 years anymore.
Yeah,
So
but
um
I caught the end of that UNC game, man, and it was an awesome comeback there. I mean, on the defensive end. I don't think they scored for like 4 or 5 minutes straight. It
uh,
felt like they're down the stretch, but it was just like too late,
they did it
too late
against
for you
Duke.
guys.
They did it against
Kansas.
Michigan State,
Hmm.
Kansas, Florida. There's a couple more where they did it against Dayton and actually won. They just dig this whole scratch and crawl, which is cool that they don't quit, but I don't know how you show up flat that many times. Like you're just
Yeah,
sleepwalking the first half.
yeah,
And to see Ole Miss put belt to ass on Iowa State hurt yesterday. So they
yeah.
cakewalk to the sweet.
Hmm.
I wouldn't call it a cakewalk. They had to go out there and earn it, but
They beat
it,
them
it
though. Like
yeah,
I didn't
handily.
expect that either. That Iowa State upset.
what are your thoughts so far on this tournament, Cody?
Um, there's a lot of chalk thus far. Let's see. You had the 12-5 McNeese over Clemson, which was fun. That was really the only big upset set on Thursday that I can remember. Friday, Colorado State over Memphis. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, man. It's a lot of chalk. I think there's only one double-digit seed going into the second weekend. Um,
Arkansas.
which
That's
I'm
right.
not gonna.
Arkansas upset St. John's.
Yeah, yeah. That was on Saturday, I think. But I'm not gonna complain about that because I think, we're gonna have better matchups this weekend because of it. As fun as it is when your Florida Gulf Coast makes it to the Sweet 16, or you're no one, all these games look pretty good. I
Yeah,
think we're gonna have good
it's
matchups.
gonna make. I'd say it was a disappointing Thursday and Friday, but what it'll pay off this weekend with
Yep.
your Sweet 16 and Elite Eight matchups.
Yeah.
Uh, I think Duke looks like UConn did last year, though. Like we're better than everybody in the entire tournament by a
hmm
wider margin than people are talking about. Sadly,
Someone said it before the game yesterday, which it's crazy they were playing in Raleigh too, but they have the ability to do what UConn did last year and kind of maybe not even play a close game until they get a little deeper. They can blow anyone out, I think, aside from maybe a couple teams that they wouldn't have to face until they hit the Final Four.
yep.
But you know how this tournament goes, man. It's any given day for anybody.
All it takes is one, man,
Yep.
and I will get so much joy out of them losing. I also kind of I've never gotten to see with my own two eyes Duke lose a national championship, and I think it might be time for that. They've won the last three. I think they've been to 2010, 2015, and I guess '01. They might have lost one. I know they lost in '99, but I want to see them lose the big one, like a soul crushing loss in the big one. If I'll take it anytime, but
Mhm.
I don't see them not making the Final Four. It
I
would
was
be
gonna ask you if you could take the field or Duke right now, who you would take if your
um,
life depended upon it.
if my life depended upon it, I'd take the field. Um, just because I feel like you got to, but
Mm-hmm.
I I'm guessing Duke's probably like minus. I think they're either like plus 110 or minus 110 to win it all. Would
That's
be my
probably
guess.
yeah. I would still take the field.
Yeah.
I'd take the field. Um, I want to get into a couple of these matchups, Jay. The big one sticking out to me, if we're gonna start on Thursday, was McNeese over Clemson. Um, that was our sixth game of the day, and at this point, we had two ACC teams already knocked out of the tournament. So it was kind of foreshadowing of what was going to happen um, for UNC. I guess Duke is the only team in the ACC that's had success. But what I want to point out about this, Jay, is McNeese's ex head coach. His name was Will Wade.
Hmm.
Um, some people are calling him the best coach they've ever seen. Uh, Two-time coach of the year in this whatever conference McNeese is from. And he's headed to NC State, Jay. He's going to be my head coach. Um, so I was pulling for the ACC in this tournament, but it is great to see my next head coach already knocking off an ACC opponent in the tournament.
Hmm.
So that's just really something Wolfpack fans out there can be excited about. Uh,
I got a question about Will Wade.
hmm
I know you got your guy.
hmm
Is it true that Aura is coming with him? Have you seen those reports?
I don't know if he's coming with him,
I,
but I sure hope so.
I
You
seen a
saw
report.
DJ Burns was on like FaceTime with him. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw a report on Twitter about him transferring to NC State to follow Will Wade,
Right.
and credible. It was like that 1-3 account. I don't know if you know, but they normally. I never everything I see them reports real. So I don't
Do
think
you
I got
want to
anything like the
explain to the listeners who this Aura cat is?
I think we talked about him last week a little
Oh,
bit.
did we?
I think we did. It was a boombox. I can't remember his name.
Mm-hmm.
I know his last name's Khan.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, from McNeese, he's their hype man, and a lot of people are seeing a lot of some hate. There's haters that are hating on him a little bit just because they're like, "Oh, this guy he's just a manager," but the players love him. He got some interviews, first manager to sign NIL deals. The cheerleaders got socks with his face on them,
That's
and
so cool.
seems like a humble king. And
Mm-hmm.
he I don't know, he radiates what is it, vibes, Cody? Good vibes, I'd say.
I'd
Aura,
say
great
I'd say
aura.
passion.
But when they said the word aura on TV, the announcers could not get the word out their mouth. You can't. You
It's a
gotta.
hard word.
No, I'm saying they said it too much. Like
It was
they were
stuck in there.
overplaying it. They were trying to force it, which I don't think Mr. Khan would want it. Like
Mm-mm.
that's a word that you don't just throw around. You use it on special occasions, and I guess you let other people say it for you, which is what he does. So, but
Well,
he's going to be in Raleigh, man. He's
yeah,
following Will Wade.
that's great news because it seems like he's got some magic about him. Um, and I hope that we could use a little bit of that in the locker room, let's be honest. Who couldn't? So I did not know that there were reports that he was coming though. That is great news.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we got our guy. He just got McNeese, I think their first ever win in the NCAA tournament. So they're ranting and raving about his defense. So a lot to be
What?
excited about there. Yeah.
I know he was at LSU. Why? What happened at LSU? Was it something bad or it just didn't work out?
I don't know. I do know he has some sort of recruiting. I think they're allegations of some sort. I hate to
What?
speculate, but I think they were recruiting. I don't know if that happened at LSU or if that had any reason to do with why he's not there anymore.
He
It's
got.
something we could use an intern to look up for us. I'd tell you that.
I know he got Ben Simmons to come to LSU, Cody. So that says something. He can recruit, and also recruiting violations aren't even a thing anymore. So when I hear about them, it doesn't
That old
scare me
stuff,
much
man. That's that
anymore.
old stuff. We're not worried about that.
Were you
Um,
surprised they got him over like the likes of Texas and I don't know, maybe I'm really Texas.
I
I guess
I
they're getting
am, but
tired.
it felt like there was a good shot we were gonna get our guy just because of how quickly we moved on from Kevin Keats and paid
Mm-hmm.
him that buyout. It seemed like we already had a backdoor deal in place. Um, and if I don't know if you saw, but we also hired a GM by the name of Andrew Slater, and people were really excited about that one too. So it seems like we really just went all in, which is good to see because I think we needed to make some serious changes in the program. So hopefully that continues, man.
Yeah, the GM thing, I know the Tar Heels did it about a month or so ago, and y'all did it. Um, I think we're not as late to the party as most schools, but it's a good I think it's good that we can fall back on this GM thing because you look at Duke. It was the first thing John Shire did was hire a GM at
Mm-hmm.
Duke. So it's kind of like the kid that maybe he's more athletic than everyone growing up. I'm referring to Shire as a coach here, and
Mm-hmm.
he's better than everyone. But it's all because. But then everybody else starts doing the same thing he's doing, and they're going to catch him. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
he
He had
peaked.
the
He
advantage.
peaked a little earlier than everyone else.
Hmm.
Um, but then he turns 16 and starts getting interested in partying and drinking and video games while everyone else really starts to put in the work and surpass far beyond what he ever
Correct.
was. Is that what
Which
you're
will,
kind of?
yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was saying. I
Hmm.
expect big things from these GM positions we're talking about. And I'm not afraid to fire my GM quickly either, Cody.
No, no.
Who gets to
I'm
fire? And the coach can't fire GM. It's the
should in college though, you should be able to.
yeah, I
A
agree.
college GM is not the coach's boss. And in my mind right now, the way I'm envisioning this relationship, it's not like my NFL team.
Hmm.
I think the coach should have more power,
Yeah.
especially because the GM's a new position.
Professional though, you should. The GM has more power, correct? As until the
Correct.
game starts, obviously, we're talking
Yeah.
about when it
Yep.
comes to decision making about the team.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Uh, do you want to talk about any other games from this past weekend that intrigued you? Or I guess we had the best one was the Maryland game in the round of 32 against Colorado State.
Yeah, there was that's the big one
Oh
for
yeah, there's a
me because Twitter was on fire last night, Jay. I don't know if you saw it, or X as they're calling it these days. Um, you've got all of these self-proclaimed basketball experts that think everything in the world is a gather step and somehow not a travel. Uh, Let me tell you something, Jay. The gather step does not exist in college basketball. It is something that only exists at the professional level. In college basketball, you get two steps. Let's not overcomplicate this. I can't remember the freshman's name that hit the game winner.
Derek
It was
Queen.
an awesome play. What's that?
Derek Queen.
Yeah. Um, but that was a travel, Jay. He picks up the basketball, and you can count one, two, three. It's an obvious travel. I'm not infuriated that they didn't call it, but it was a travel. Uh,
That's
I'd be
it.
very upset if I was Colorado State. It was three
Well,
steps.
I wouldn't have made the call, and Colorado State got away with a boat from their best player in the first half, and I think the better team won. So I'm okay with the travel in it. Like I think the team that should have won, even though they got away with the travel. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna let it walk this time. There was a missed travel in the Tar Heel Ole Miss game, Cody, a big one as
Oh
well.
yeah,
It was one of those things where the man moves his pivot foot about 5 feet, and
yeah,
that's not allowed. You can't move your pivot foot. I don't know if you know that, but
yeah.
I
Basic
think
rule
the
of
refs.
basketball.
Do you think the refs in college basketball are like worse than any other sport? Maybe.
Well, it's hard to call them worse than NBA referees because to me, NBA referees just don't even try to do their job. Uh, I feel like they at least try in college basketball, but I
I
think
think
in other sports the refs get better the higher level you're refereeing.
I feel like in college basketball, the ref there's a lot of like pick me refs that want you looking at them like old
Oh
Teddy.
yeah,
There's more
yep.
of them. There's a
Mm.
lot of them, and they want you to look at them make this call when it's the wrong call, or they I don't know. I don't think they're good.
I
I
can
don't know.
tell you a little. I can tell you a little story about a referee by the name of Carl Hess and his discrimination against North Carolina State. If you care to hear it sometime, but that happened about 10 years ago.
Are you
Basically,
going to tell us now?
I will. He was refereeing a state game, and he was getting chirped by a former player, Chris Cor- Cornacci, and they kicked him out of the game. The prior former state player. Um, and then there's a lot of like backlash about it from the media. So they suspended this referee from participating in the ACC tournament. And the rest of the referees put KH, his initials, on their shoes out of solidarity to their fallen brother.
Mm,
And NC State got a suspiciously poor whistle for the duration of that tournament that ended in what I thought was a Kendall Marshall charge
no
in the
call.
semis of the ACC tournament. but
Well,
my opinion doesn't matter. Um, I think you can objectively say if you remember that play, Jay, you got to call something. It's either
man,
a charge or a
don't
block.
swallow the whistle. They don't call charges as much as they used to. They have the charges kind of fallen out the game a little bit.
I think
But
we should
back
get
in the
away
day,
from
it was
rewarding
called a
people
lot.
from falling on purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the UConn Florida game a little bit. UConn's first loss in the tournament.
Hmm.
They had won 13 straight, I guess.
That's
They
insane.
after two back-to-back national championships, and then, dude, I can't stand Dan Hurley.
No.
He
Mm.
he. I don't get how he doesn't get teed up every game because he talks to the refs with no respect, dude. No respect whatsoever, and
Hmm.
he's allowed to do half the time. He's half. I see his I see his assistant coaches jumping up halfway on the court and he's halfway out on the court yelling. It's one thing for your head coach to do it. It's another thing for the assistants to do it. I think you can't bombard these guys, and he gets away with anything. And then after the game, blatantly blames the referees instead of taking his first loss in the NCAA
Yeah.
tournament against the one seed on the chin. And as a non-biased person watching the game, it was one of the games I didn't even think about the refs at all the
No.
entire game. It
It
was
was a
it was
good
it
game.
was a good, clean game, and he's
Hmm.
first thing he wants to do is go whine. Uh, I think he needs to be put on some meds or something. I don't know. I don't like him. He
Maybe
uh, he
maybe
don't
he
care
needs to
that we
go with
lost.
Aaron Rodgers to on one of those trips to South America
Yeah,
and do
that probably do wonders for him.
experiment with some drugs and meditate.
Yeah, he just needs to. I don't know, man. Relax. Be a little happier. It's okay to be like you're not happy you lost, but I don't know, man.
He
I
just won two national championships in a row. Like, I get you're mad, but
yeah,
I mean,
it's not the ref's fault you lost. I promise
no,
you that.
no, just lost. Yeah, he's very unlikable. Kind of fits the bill, man, for that family.
Yeah, the Hurleys. We talked
Hmm.
about that last week too.
Hmm.
Got on a little tangent about the Hurleys. Um,
We had
there's
some
not
big. I thought Arkansas over Kansas. I'm not going to talk about the game, but
it's a good
just
game.
uh, just Calipari over, over Kansas, and then who'd they lose to?
Who?
They lost to Saint, or they didn't lose. I'm sorry, but they beat St. John's. So that was another like legendary coaching matchup right there in the second round.
Mhm.
Um, I thought that was kind of cool to see.
I wish I
These
would have watched
brackets,
that game.
these brackets. You looked at our bracket challenge, Jay, our Tuesday morning quarterbacks bracket
Oh yeah,
challenge.
yeah. I've kept an
It's
eye on it.
it ain't pretty right now for either of us. That being said, it's not over.
Nope.
We do still have a chance to win, and if we don't win, we've got 2 more weeks to find out how we're going to spin it
Yeah,
to remain unblemished.
and we
But
will.
yeah, we will, and if for some reason we do fall, I mean, as long as your national champion's still alive, you got a shot in this
You
thing.
can't, and you can't be wrong when it comes to a bracket, man. There's never been a perfect one. There's
No,
never been
we
close
all
to a perfect one. This is the
we
biggest
all lost.
crapshoot you could be a part of. So I'm not sweating it one bit. And like you said, champions are still alive. After watching Florida, I don't think they're winning. I don't think they're making the
No,
Final Four, Cody.
yeah,
I don't know
I
why
uh,
everyone loved them so much. They
I
don't seem
agree with you.
strong enough. I think their point guard's great. I think they're not strong enough to win. Tough enough to win is the word I'm looking for.
Unfortunately, they're playing Maryland. I think they will beat Maryland.
Yep, I do
Um,
too.
because I don't think Maryland is that good compared to the rest of the field that's left.
Hmm.
I'm trying to see who they would come across next. That would be the winner of Texas Tech or Arkansas.
I could see Cal getting to the Final Four, beating Florida,
I,
man.
I could too. I could see that. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would.
Another double digit seed making the Final Four for the second year in a row. I don't know if you remember who did that last year.
Mm, the pack, but not
Oh,
with Will
it
Wade.
was NC State, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Yep.
Kevin Keats is NC
Yeah.
State.
Yep. Where's he at, I wonder? In the
No
portal.
telling.
In the portal somewhere. Any games you want to preview, Jay?
Yeah, the big one, man, is if Caleb Love can somehow beat Duke again and send them packing, that would do it for me in a big way.
Will
I
you
don't see
forgive
it
him?
happen. Hmm?
Would you forgive him for everything?
I've never been upset with him. He
Okay.
left, you know, it
Because
is
of a
what it
girl.
is. Yeah, for love triangle. It
Yeah.
happens, man.
The
You know, you
broken love triangle. They always
got
break.
you got to learn, and he's learned.
Mm.
I don't see them winning, but if he goes, I mean, I think he had about 28 in the Final Four when he beat them, and they're playing again. They played earlier this year, and Duke beat them pretty good. Uh, it would that is ideal for me as they lose to him this week, just because you can just well they he beat them in the Final Four. In case you were forgetting, I don't know
I
if you
remember.
remember. He
I
hit
remember.
the shot is what is referred to me
Hmm.
against Duke. That's the only shot that would be the shot in the game. I, it's going to be cool seeing him face them. He always plays well against them, and he's either really good or really bad. It's normally not in between. So I'm guessing he's either going to go about 2 for 13 or about 9 for 13. You know what I'm saying?
He's gonna get his shots up one way or the other.
Oh yeah.
I do respect that.
Hmm. I
Um,
will. I
Go ahead.
will miss seeing him play after they get bounced by Duke because I don't think they're beating Duke. I don't know who will.
BYU.
You think BYU is going to beat Alabama? That's in your bracket, ain't
It's
it?
in my bracket.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, of course.
That's going to be a fun game, though. It's gonna be a lot of shots. Both of them teams just light it up from three. It's going to be a fun
Yeah,
watch.
yeah, for sure. That a lot of good games this weekend. I'm excited to watch. So, um, with
Tennessee,
that,
Kentucky.
you got anything else basketball? The basketball world?
I don't believe so, man. Uh, I didn't really watch much of it on Saturday. I watched some on Sunday. I watched the Florida game, but I was pretty down after I expected the Hills to win Friday. I really did. So, but I'm coming back and I'm going to enjoy these last 2 weeks of college basketball because we're about to be in the hole, man.
Well, it's
The
about to be that time, man, where we're watching hockey, where we're watching UFL.
UFL,
Is
baby.
that what they call it now?
I'm with the Showboats.
Yeah, and I'm with the DC Defenders. So, we'll take what we can get this time of year. We'll take what we can get.
That's right.
And we'll get through. We always do. Just get to summertime. I think summertime's almost worse, man, because you feel like you're closer than you are. Um,
It's it's June, man. You got to get through June because
you gotta get through the dog days.
once you're halfway through July and we come on here and we're like, oh, there's a preseason football game in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's when it's like, hold the phone. We're there.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's when. How many times we're gonna say football is back? Probably 20,
Yeah.
and it'll start then. Uh,
Yeah.
but if you were wondering, Cody, there was a regular season baseball started, but
What?
it started, but then they went back to spring training after playing 2 regular season games. The Cubs and the Dodgers met in Tokyo. I think this is the second straight year this has went
They
down.
did it last year. I want to say I don't remember if it was Tokyo last year as well, but I really hate that they do this.
Yeah. One, I want the first game of the year to be in the US of A, but
Yes.
that's not even the biggest problem here. The problem is why are you playing 2 games? and
Well,
then going back to spring training.
I got multiple problems with it. First one, I agree I want it in USA, but if you're going to play it in a country that's not USA, it should be in a country that has a lot of players in the MLB, and that should be like the Dominican Republic, probably. Uh,
And I'm guessing
we
it was
don't have that many. I don't feel like we don't have that many Japanese players.
we got
They're
a time.
accumulating, but we have
That's
more
it.
Dominicans for sure. I don't.
Yeah. The biggest gripe for me though is why do you play 2 games then go back to spring training?
It's yeah.
I can't comprehend that and I can't get the reasoning for it. Maybe it's travel,
I
but
think
just
it probably has to do with travel, right? Because if they did it on opening day in Japan and then brought everyone back over here, it's going to throw off their schedule. But
finish spring training first,
yeah, dude,
or
I don't
like
get
you
it.
said, put it in Mexico, put it
Like
in Cuba, somewhere
these,
closer where they can start it and come. You're in the regular season still.
yeah. The thing about baseball too is, for a lot of players, especially hitters, I'll say, like it takes time to get used to seeing that live pitching, that game pitching again for you to catch your groove. I remember Mark Teixeira watching him when he was playing with the Braves, and then I followed him a little bit when he went to the Yankees when I was a younger guy. But he would always have a terrible first month of the season, Jay, because it took him a little longer than most, and then he'd start tearing it up because he was Mark Teixeira. But I'd be a little irritated if I was a player on this team that prefers a full spring training to get into the swing of things, and now I'm having to play a couple games a week and a half earlier than everyone else. And it may you can say, oh, you play 162 games and it's only two, but come September and
Winner
it's a
gets
tight
in.
race, one of
Hmm.
those games might matter.
It'll
Um,
matter more to the Cubs, I'm sure, than the Dodgers. But
yeah, yes, more than
when is
likely
opening day, though, Cody? It's got to be this week.
it
They don't.
is. I
Is it?
I want to say it's Thursday.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because
I
they'll
know.
usually half the teams will play Thursday, the other half will play Friday, then everyone plays Saturday, Sunday to finish up their 3 game series, and then we roll into a normal rotation for the rest of the year.
You think it's important to start hot in the early part of the season, or
I,
don't start bad?
I don't. You don't have to, but I do think it's probably a huge help to start well.
Is it
Uh,
better to start hot or to? Well, this is a dumb question
is
because
finish hot.
I was going to say to come out the All Star break playing well because a lot of teams, you see a big fall off after the All Star break or a big jump, but it's more important to be playing better ball later in the season.
Mhm.
Why you got 162 games to dig yourself out an early hole, I guess.
Yeah,
I do know
so many games.
Gunnar Henderson's on IL or whatever, so that's a good start for the O's.
I'm sorry to hear that. I am wishing the Braves to have a healthy roster this year. I don't keep up with baseball in the off season. I don't, but I would imagine Acuna's ready to go.
That's what I was
Um,
going to ask you.
so because he tore his other ACL. That was relatively early in the season though, and it's baseball, and we have world class trainers. I would hope so. He should be fine. I'd imagine it's been like 10 months. Um, I'm excited to watch the Braves, man. When we're healthy, we got some ball players. Looking to see Matt Olson bounce back. He had a pretty bad year after having a really good year. Um, we'll see. I'm
I'll
excited.
be I'll be cutting on Masson on Thursday to watch the O's a little bit.
I'd imagine the
What we
Braves are
got.
still on Bally Sports, which is just going to be a continuation of my nightmare that I've been living through for the past 3 years. Um,
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll have
You
something to
don't.
say about that next week about
I
this
hope
time.
you do because we can
Yeah.
put. Maybe it's time we put it out to the world.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll
Yeah.
get something done by Mr. Commish,
I
whoever it
mean,
is.
it's awful. It's just awful. And the Braves aren't the only team. There's a lot of teams that complain.
I think it's like
fans,
7 of them, 7 teams that are in the same position as them or something.
something like that. It's insane.
Well, Cody, that's about. I don't know if you want to talk any more baseball, or if not, I just got one more question for you before we get out of here, man.
Hmm.
And that's what's on your mind, brother.
Oh, what's on my mind? Man, I'll say this, because I saw you on Saturday along with some other old friends, and we hit the golf course. And what's on my mind, Jay, is getting old. Getting
Mm.
old. I uh I woke up on Sunday and I felt like I'd been in a car accident. My lower back
I
hurt
was
so bad.
well.
And I know it's from being out on the golf course. And it doesn't help when you're bad at golf and you probably have to hit the ball 150 times in a round of 18 holes. But so maybe I just need to get better, and but man, I'm still tight today. I was walking around, I couldn't even stand up straight. I had a little heating pack on my back, and it just had me thinking, man, I used to consider myself an athlete, and now it feels like every every step, every which way I look, I'm reminding myself some way that I'm just not what I used to be. The simple things are hard now, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Well,
when's the last time you have you sprinted? Like ran as fast as you
I
can?
sprinted a little bit on Saturday.
How'd that feel?
Well, I woke up Sunday, and you need to take care of your back, Cody.
Mm,
That's the big thing here.
mm-hmm.
But I was a little sore, but it was in the hammies. A good
Okay.
kind of sore, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't
Yeah.
much. It was just kind of like little jelly to the legs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I I don't like you saying you're getting old. I told you, I don't know if you remember the other night, I was wrong, but I told you were Generation Z, which
I'm
you're
not.
not. You're a
I'm a
millennial,
millennial.
but
I'm a
I'm
millennial.
Gen Z.
Yeah.
So that makes me like 15 years younger, being at the beginning of Gen Z. And you're at
Yeah.
the end of the millennial cycle, so it does
Yeah.
make you old, I guess.
I'm
I don't
about
know.
I am I think the youngest, about as young of a millennial as you can be within a
Mhm.
month. I'm very close to the cutoff,
Yeah.
but that
It
does
depends
put
what
me in a
start
different
you get.
category. That's for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you were about to take what was on my mind, Cuddy, when you started talking, and I'm happy you didn't.
I'm happy I didn't either. That's not a good feeling
No.
when you got to come up with something off the top of your head, but we'll since I didn't steal it from you, Jay, do you want to tell us what's on your mind?
Yeah, it goes back to golf, but
Oh.
it's for people like me and you that we're never going to be big into golf. We probably never will. I'm not going to say never, but I did a few times there. It just doesn't feel like it's ever going to happen. When I get out on that course, I don't want to play 9. I don't want to play 18 either, Cody. Why can't there be like a 13-hole golf course, 14
Mm.
when you're tired of it, or just I know it's a little picky to be asking for so much, but when I get to hole 13, it's when I'm ready to be done. Maybe 15 max. I don't know if there's something somebody can do at these courses to, maybe you only want to. What's in
Here's
between 9 and 18? 4.5.
Yeah, but you
13
can
and a
do
half.
here's an idea, Jay. They give you like a little card, and every hole you play, you swipe it at the tee box to let them know you're playing this hole, you're paying for this hole, and then whenever you want to stop, just go on back,
Mm-hmm.
So
That's a good idea.
that way you can pay for the amount of holes that you play.
Mm.
Um, I think something like that would work, and you can just stop whenever you feel like it.
Do- How do you? Is there a way to keep up with, you know, some people aren't as honest as us and might not
Yeah,
swipe on the hole.
we
Uh,
might there might have to be a way to enforce it. Maybe
maybe
there's like an electric fence, and if you don't swipe your card first, it'll electrocute you when you try to step up onto the tee box.
where the fence is going to be
Maybe
on the
around the tee box,
okay.
and you I'm just spitballing here, man. There's better ideas than this. There's a way to control it.
This is how you start it, though. You start the conversation
Yeah.
to get to the better ideas.
Yeah. I think if you could figure out how to control it, just a pay as you play or pay for what you play type thing. Say each hole is this amount of dollars and however many you play, multiply it.
Maybe it sounds like we should just be going to Top Golf and not the course.
Was it Top Golf is fun.
Never,
Was it
still never been.
was it Matt that called in that said there should be two turns, one after 6 and one after 12? That
That's
way you have
true.
two different places to get hot dogs.
Yeah, that's what it should be, man. Pay for
That's
6,
cool too.
12, or 18,
Yeah.
and you got 2 turns where you can figure it, where you get to think about it.
hmm
It might be
And
the
grab another. That way you could get one dog at one turn instead of, a dog at each turn at after 6 and after 12. Because when we played Saturday, I wanted two dogs and I got two, but I felt like I was having to eat them too fast. I didn't have enough
Mhm.
time to eat both of them before we teed off on 10. So
My
I
mouth's
I think
starting to
that's
water.
something to take into account.
Yeah, I regret not getting a dog. Man, I
What?
want one right now.
Yeah, yeah. That's people talk about like, what's your favorite beer, like airport beers, or golf course hot dogs. Those are good dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Really good dogs.
What's another good dog, Cody?
Um,
The one from a hot dog stand when you're out on the town.
yes. Yes, that's a great dog. Um, maybe at a just a cookout, a barbecue. That's a good dog. Not as good as the other two.
Yeah, the turn I think's number one
hmm
for sure.
But I like them out of a hot dog stand too, when you just happen upon it, when you maybe not even looking for it.
Mm. I do not
hmm
like my hot dogs boiled though, man. I like them to be grilled. That might be picky for eating a hot dog, but I like to see the grill marks on it and a
No,
little
I'm
charred,
I'm with you. It should be charred a little bit.
little burnt.
hmm Yeah, yeah.
Well, we got anything else for the docket today, brother?
I don't have anything else if we don't have any fan questions.
No, no, no. I don't think so, but I'll look.
Okay, and in the meantime, while you're looking, I want to go ahead and remind all of our fans out there that you can ask us questions
Mm,
on X via direct message at TMQBs. Now, if you don't want to DM us, you can just outright tweet us. That's also
mhm,
allowed. And while you guys are at it, go ahead and give us a follow on YouTube, like and subscribe at Tuesday
mhm.
Morning Quarterbacks. And then additionally, we are on TikTok. Uh, the young kids, the new platform, that's at Tuesday MQBS.
You
Give
can
us a
ask
follow.
questions there too.
You can ask questions on any of those. Well, TikTok or X, please. If you ask us a question on YouTube, we may not see it.
That's right.
Uh, but yeah.
All right, brother. Happy
All right.
birthday to my sister. It's her birthday, Tuesday, March 25th.
Happy. Can we say her name? Or
Yeah, happy birthday,
happy birthday, Kelsey.
Kelsey.
hmm
All right.
All right. Well, another successful episode, Jay. Thanks for meeting me. Same
Mm-hmm.
time, same place as always.
That's right. I'll see you next week too. Hopefully with Big John.
Yeah. All right, brother. Have a great week. Listeners, loyal and new listeners, please have a great week. We'll see you next time.